member of scientific committee and international lecturer of the Telepathology International Institutes of Telemedicine, member in the Society of Pediatric Pathology in the USA, member of the International Academy of Pathology Arab Division, member in the scientific committee of the Virtual International Pathology Institute, and we cover the progress of digital pathology in Egypt, pathology digitalization in Egypt.
أنا برحب بدكتور عصام جدا. Personally, he's one of the great supporters to me. When I told him I'm having this idea and working through that, actually he encouraged me and he gives me certain tips. I welcome him and
صباح الخير على حضراتكم. It's a great pleasure for me to be here with you. تاني وثالث مرة كنت في الجامعة هنا، بس سعيد بالادفانتجز بتحصل والبروجريس في كل الفيلدز. والترتيب النهارده اللي عاملاه الدكتور عزة للسيشنز I think هيبقى بالنسبة لنا لطيف خالص إن إحنا الناس تبتدي تتبنى فكرة جديدة. أنا عارف إن ديجيتال باثولوجي بالنسبة للبعض يبدو غريب شوية أو مش مقبول، لكن خلونا كده نتناقش في نفس الأيتم ده بس في آخر السيشن. طبعًا قبل أي حاجة أنا بشكر الدكتور عزة على الدعوة الكريمة وبشكر التشير بيرسونز دكتور إبراهيم. My talk will be about the progress of pathology digitalization in Egypt. By me, I am a professor of pathology and the head of the digital pathology unit in Cairo University and the former chairperson, chairman of the pathology department, Cairo University. Let's begin by the importance of imaging. From our experience, we have a lot of images gained during the examination across microscopic with different magnification reaching the diagnosis. And from all these steps, we can get a lot of images. For that reason, many studies were done to show that, as you know, in some countries, there is a SIM card specialized or specific for each person, including the whole medical data of this person. It was found that about 70% of this data coming from the digital slice or the slice of the patient, the pathology slice. So for that reason, it's very important for us to keep this material safe and we can use it for a lot of research and interaction. In the past, when we began our experience in digital pathology, the main terminology used was a telepathology. But after that, we changed it to the pathology-based digitalization. And the pathology digitalization is not an idea or not just a trial to make something new. No, it's a new era in pathology. And as Dr. Azza said, that by time, everything will change in pathology to be completely digitalized. And simply, we have a lot of definitions for digital pathology or telepathology. The simplest is the examining the slice remotely on a monitor rather than a conventional microscope. The first trial to adopt this technology began so early in life. It began in the 1960s. And for a lot of reasons, it stopped for 30 years. And after that, in the 1990s, it began to be a very important item in all the conference. And there is, most of us aware about the International Academy of Pathology, but some of us only aware about the International Academy of Digital Pathology or Telepathology. They have a conference organized every 2 years in some area in the world, and it's repeated. The last one was in 2023. Just a review about the forms of the pathology digitalization, and I think Dr. Azza covered this area, so I will not go through it deeply. The first trial, which I personally used it in 2002. This is my beginning in applying digitalization of pathology. It was a static images taking some photos to be sent for a second opinion, the dynamic, either to be robotic or non-robotic, with the combination of both static and dynamic, and the actual beginning of digitalization or telepathology was using the whole slide images. And I think most of us are aware nowadays about the meaning of the whole slide images. It's a new technology that can make a scanning of the slides, the whole slide, and to change it either from an analog form of images to be a digital file. And we have a lot of vendors, as mentioned in the previous lecture. The advantage of these whole slide images, you can read the barcode, make a scan and complete scanning of the whole slide automatically with focusing. It's very fast, and nowadays I think the biggest slides can be scanned in within less than 1 minute. The availability of the slide in the digital form can allow any pathologist to make a context or make some annotation on the slide to kept as it is for teaching and learning and exchanging knowledges. And it was a very good chance for us to keep our treasure of slides, of cases, not in the form of glass slides which can be broken, to be in a form of digital slides and make a lot of copies of this precious material, to make a library available for the students, undergraduate or postgraduate. And for sure, during examination, it's much easier for any pathologist examining the slides remotely. He can control the image during examination to feel comfortable. This technology in the beginning was difficult to be convincing for all the pathologists, and it was used for education training, network consultation, and quality assurance. It can be used for routine surgical pathology, but it's not accepted all over the world in all the centers, but in some centers it's used for primary diagnosis, second opinion, which is the most common usage of the digital pathology, expert consultation, quality assurance, distance education, frozen section studies. And this is the flow of slides coming from any lab. And if you take a look about the duration. This slide was taken in 2003, about 21 years before. This is the routine flow, all the slides coming from the lab after finishing preparing the slides will go to the scanner to be the whole set of the slides of all the cases to be scanned maybe overnight, and by the morning all the professors of pathology, consultant pathology will be allowed to examine the slides either on the microscope using the routine glass slides or on a monitor using the computer system. Just 1 month before ago, I was visiting a center in UK. They are considered a model for the Europe for complete digitalization of the material. Every step from the early beginning of receiving the slide till the examination is done completely digitalized. And this is called in the United Kingdom the National Project of Imaging and Cooperation. And we hope we can do the same here in Egypt. This is the steps of examination, even the examination, the gross, the detection, the dictation of the cases. It's already automated. And the whole set of slides is put in these scanners. And in this lab, there are 6 scanners available for making a scanning of the whole set of slides they have. This is done routinely every day. And this is how they examine the slides for teaching, for e-learning. As you see, a very large monitor, and you can use it for teaching, going just behind or in front of the stage, making magnification or narrowing using your hands, similar to the smartphone. So it's very easy, especially for the new generations, if you are using this technology for teaching. And this is the way of examining the cases every day. This one of the pathologists using nowadays, not using the microscope by all means. They are examining the slides from the monitor, using different forms of navigators, using the mouse, using joysticks like the PlayStation, different forms of it. And for sure, it's much easier for them not to do the same job from their offices, but making from home. And this was the ideal form of practicing pathology during COVID. So we have now in some countries many pathologists not working from their offices, but from home. And this is a rough estimation of the acceptance of using these digital slides either in the MDT sessions or for interpretation of the pathology, the analysis, the second opinion. And briefly, you can see that in all these forms, the curve is rising, and the acceptance of using this new technology, digital pathology, is markedly accepted. The same picture, and they put a logo that no use for this microscope except for emergency, when we are in need for a very rapid decision. More or less exaggeration for us, but it's a new era. About the application of digital pathology in my university, in the Faculty of Medicine, Cairo University, I think most of us were about the Qasr Hospital, the oldest school of medicine, and we began with this scanner. And actually speaking, we are not the first one use whole slide images in Egypt, because Dr. Amr will speak about his first experience in using the whole slide images in the military hospital. But we are the first using it in a university, especially for education. The first propaganda for these scanners was for teleconsultation. But actually speaking, when we began our experience and established our unit in 2009, so we have 15 years now using the whole slide images in my department. We began with e-learning, and we make a scan of the whole set of slides used for teaching the undergraduate. And we make a set of slides available online for routine teaching during the classes or for the e-learning. And this is the image of our website, including the whole set of slides used. For any students, he can examine the slides without need for a microscope or something like that. He can use it from any laptop or even smartphone to revise the whole set of material. Just one click on any slides, a window will be open for the data or the case, and then digital slide, you can use it for magnification, annotation, etc. And we spread our experience to different colleagues in histology and clinical pathology. And this is the whole set of slides for histology also. it was interesting for us to make a survey or a research about the acceptance of the students for this technology. So we make a trial for e-education for medical students using the whole slide images in Egypt. And it was introduced in many international conferences and published in one of the very important international magazines. And it was a very good use for us, replacing the very large number of students attending the classes, even the labs, to be replaced by virtual slides, digital slides to be examined on a monitor. Even the exams are done computerized with no need for even for papers to write. The second application we used is a mega scanning of our slides in the pathology department, Cairo University. And I think in our departments of pathology in all the universities, we have a treasure of slides. And this is very important. Slides are unique. So we can make scanning of our slides to make an e-library available for education for all the grades or all the levels of the pathologist, to be undergraduate, beginner, for master degree, for postdoctoral degree. And during the establishment of our pathology unit, we found a lot of problems detected by the machine about the quality of the slide, the mounting material, the coverage. So we were obliged to revise our techniques, our processing techniques, and everything done for preparing the slides, because it can be easily detected by the machine. After that, we began a trial for local telepathology or local network of telepathology. We found that 2 or 3 years before that the scanners, slide scanners, are available in the Faculty of Medicine, Cairo University, in the Children Cancer Hospital in Egypt, and the Military International Medical Center. So we had an idea to make a network between all these centers. And from that time till now, we have some centers added. For sure, your center will be one of the best centers to make this communication, to make an internal network between us for consulting the cases, discussing these cases. And a few years before, we began a project. We call it the National Project of Digital Pathology in Egypt. The idea is we'll make different satellites in different cancer centers all over Egypt, and to be connected with the central lab in Cairo or in any central area for examination where a lot of pathologists are present. Another form of teleconsultation, we make a channel of exchanging knowledge between us and between different advanced centers, more specialized centers all over the world. And one of it is a project between us in Cairo University and in Leeds, St. James Hospital in Leeds, and we exchanged a lot of images. And from this cooperation, we published some papers about this consultation as a good experience, a good, a pilot studies for how we can make communication between emerging countries and the more advanced countries. And we accepted a very good acceptance from all these persons. One of the ideas we have that we can make a usage of the presence of our pathologists. We have a good number of pathologists here in Egypt, so we can cover the deficiency of pathologists in surrounding Arab countries. Can you imagine that in some countries, the number of pathologists all over the country is about 10 or 12, so there is a market deficiency in these countries, trying to make an intra-network between the Arab countries. And as Dr. Az said, from 2017, the digital pathology and the virtual slides took the approval of the FDA, and it was a very good step to widely use of this technology. Just a brief idea about the advances in the whole slide images technology. It's markedly used in the artificial intelligence and the deep learning. And this is further advantages like a total solution for research and development, fully integrated with ice canvas slide images, comprehensive image analyzing, image viewing and annotation, highly consumable and usage friendly, high usage tissue microarray, different applications. For the image viewing and annotation, one of the very big advantages, in my opinion, is how you can use the monitor for examining the slides. It's not only to replace the microscope by a monitor, but we can make a scan of the, for example, a case of lymphoma, and we can scan the immunostains done for this case. If we have 10 slides, 12 slides, the number of slides for immunostain, the usage of the microscope as a routine is to put the slide on the microscope, searching for the interesting or the diagnostic cell. After that, we will remove the slide to put the immunostain slide and try to search for this cell again. Is it positive? Is it negative? To take a decision. And after that, remove this slide and put the second one. Can you imagine the time consumed to do that job and how it is? I don't want to say some bad words, but it's time consuming at least. And you can lose this slide. And to replace it, we can make some marks on the slides. All these can be avoided. Just to make a scan of the slide, I mean a slide H&E, to make a scan of the whole set of the immunostain, and to ask the machine to put the slides in divided area. For example, if you have a screen like that, you can divide it in 12 small images, and once you can click on the main slide, begin to move it, the whole set of the slides will move. If you want to make a magnification, it's very easy. So in less than a minute, you can judge if this diagnostic cell is present or not, taking this immunostain or not. This is one of the most important advantages in navigation of the slide. And what about the application of the AI used till now in our experience? We have a lot of software used. For example, this software produced by one company make a whole set of slides for pap smear. Just clicking on one slide, you can see here the whole slide, and on the other part of the slide, the analysis done by the machine for the whole cells present, including these plastic cells, low grade, high grade, and the percentage of this cell through the whole slide, and the places of these cells. And if you wanted to make it magnification of it for one cell here, like the ISIL, the machine will go directly to the cells to show you the cells, and to show you the first cell, the second cell, etc. So, if you repeat it, you can get complete analysis of the whole slide, the whole types of cells present in your slide. I think this is very difficult for any person to do it by using the analog microscope. And we are trying all the time to search for one cell, two cells, to make a mark on the slide to detect it again. So it's much easier here. So the machine will help you like a screener for your slide, but on a good experience. The same here. Detecting all types of cells and the percentage of the cells, the number of cells and the presence of these cells in my slide. Another application we already use the machine for detecting the positivity or negativity of the immunostains. sometimes the percentage of the positivity or negativity of immunosense is very crucial in giving treatment for this patient or not. For example, for cases of cancer breast, you usually know the ER, PR, HER2, KI. And for the HER2, it's very important to make a percentage of the complete membranous stain for the slide. Sometimes it's not easy. For negative cases, it's very easy. For very strong cases, it's very easy. But for score 1, score 2, it's very difficult. And when we get score 2, we are in need for a further technique like fish technique. Frankly speaking, if I examine the slide myself, 2 times I may give a score different. I can make it 13 one time and 15 one time. But if I make it by the machine, it will give me complete analysis of the whole malignant cells present. The number of the cells, the positivity or negativity, complete or incomplete membranous stains, the actual percentage of the complete membranous stain cells. So it's very easy for you to take a decision and after that to give the patient this treatment or not. And we make a trial for this, making a comparative study done between the morphological analysis and fluorescence in situ hybridization fish technique in cases of breast cancer tumors with equivocal HER2 new score 2. We made this study about 10 years before and we published it and introduced it in many international conferences. After that, we made another trial for the percentage of the KI positivity. And we all know we have also a cutoff for the positive or negative KI 67. It's not negative or positive, but to give a treatment or not. Is it high positivity or low positivity? And the cutoff is different from one literature to the other. It was 14, it changed to be 20, it changed to be 10, something like that. So it's very easy for you to use the AI to detect the actual percentage of positive cells. And by the way, one of the obstacles if you're doing this research is the positivity in some necrotic cells and some inflammatory cells. And it was an obstacle for some persons to adopt this technology because of the bias coming from this positivity or negativity. And this also problem was solved by the AI personnel working in this area to make some function in the software to ignore necrotic area and to ignore the inflammatory cells and also just according to the area. So all the problems faced by the pathology and asked by the pathology, these IT persons searching for a solution for it to make it easier for the pathologist. And also we make this trial in a paper publication and introduced in many conferences. And by the way, papers with using the digital pathology is markedly accepted to be published for international conferences and for international magazines. And this is very important for candidate for promotion, for assistant professor or professors. We face a lot of research is very weak with a very limited number of cases, something like that. If you add digital pathology analysis, it will be much accepted by all the papers and the machines. Other softwares, we have a lot of softwares. One for counting, for example, mitosis is very important, for example, in soft tissue tumors. For measuring an areas of necrosis, fibrosis, liver, something like that. Detection of the bacteria, tubercle bacilli, detection of the Helicobacter itself, and a lot of software is done to do everything you want in pathology. About the advantages, we have a lot of fastly advancing programs and scanners with very high magnification, scanners with this stick or this staining, as Dr. Azza said. One of the problems in examining cytology, that all the cytologists feel more comfortable examining the slide, because sometimes we face what's called cell on cell. So I want to change the power to go to the cells in the higher levels and go to the lower one. So it was easily resolved by making a scan of the slide in different levels, in 3 levels, 5 levels, 7 levels, so you can use the level you want to go as if similar to what you did during using the microscope itself. The immunofluorescent scanners, the confocal scanners, and nowadays the advantage in digital pathology make it very useful for routine pathology, surgical pathology, second opinion, expert-to-expert consultation, frozen section, distant education, and quantitative assessment of immunohistochemical studies. And I think the change or the progress in making better microscopes, it took about 400 years reaching the latest form of microscope. But the change will, for digital slides, it will take much easier. حاجة أخيرة هقولها بالعربي. أول مرة قدمت محاضرة عن الديجيتال باثولوجي كانت في المؤتمر بتاع الانترناشونال اكاديمي اوف باثولوجي الارب ديفيجن. وكان اورجنايز في القاهرة في 2010. وحد من الاميننت بروفيسورز كان موجودين كتشير بيرسون. فبعد ما خلصت المحاضرة ما سابني اخلص المحاضرة للآخر. بعد الكومنت بتاعه كان لطيف قوي، قال لي بص يا دكتور، سيظل الميكروسكوب هو سيد الموقف. وان الديجيتال باثولوجي والتيلي باثولوجي دوت دي حاجه دعابه كده عشان نتفرج بيها. وطبعا ما كانش في مجال للرد غير ما قلت له يعني طبعا مع احترامي لحضرتك، لكن الايام بينا ان احنا باذن الله هنشوف الديجيتال باثولوجي قد ايه هيبقى ليه وجود واكسبتنس من